Hello, hello.
Welcome to the Women in Leadership Body, Mind, Soul, and Business podcast. I'm Heather.
And I'm Charlie.
Together, we are working to connect women in leadership and business to build relationships and empower each other, improving the health and wellness of the community, body, mind, and soul.
Today, we have a very special holiday edition podcast for you. In lieu of this week's Thanksgiving holiday, we would like to talk about thankfulness and what it means. On Wednesday, we talked about gratitude and how we show gratitude. And today, we're talking about thankfulness and having a thankful attitude.
So hopefully you survived yesterday and you're having a great weekend. Mm-hmm. And we're here. And so thankfulness as attitude. So what is thankfulness and how do you show thankfulness? Thankfulness is defined as gratitude. I was like, where am I going with right here? It was the Latin words meaning pleasing and thankful is where the words come from, the word source.
Mm-hmm. So the words gratitude, thankfulness, and gratefulness are all kind of intertwined, but they are slightly different. It's different to show somebody thankfulness than it is to show gratitude. Positive responses of ways people show gratitude or thankfulness can be showing kindness, gifts, lending them a hand, help, doing favors for them, or even showing other types of generosity, whether it's financially or maybe you have something, you can share with them, just different ways to show gratitude and thankfulness. There's so many things to be thankful for. And I think this last couple of years have let us sit back and realize what it is that's important to us and how much we really almost take for granted. Right. And really lengthened our list of things to be thankful for.
Right. So especially right now, you can really hone in and focus on what you are thankful for and really focus on those things and share that energy. So when you have the attitude of being thankful, you show appreciation.
Attitude of gratitude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And it's a really positive kind of energy that we can share with other people. And then we share that positive mindset, that positive energy with somebody. We show them thankfulness. We show them gratitude. We do something nice for somebody else. And it raises our vibration. It raises our self-confidence. When we show other people things, we also get that in return. That's the same kind of energy that we're putting out into the world. We're going to get that back tenfold.
Wow. Right. Yeah. Right? I love it. That's so awesome.
So attitude of gratitude.
So pretty much thankfulness is an adjective, and it is the act of expressing our gratitude. So that is
it.
It's that simple.
So, leaving a tip at a restaurant is a way to show your wait staff that you're thankful for them. You're not necessarily going to go back in the kitchen and get your own food at a restaurant. They don't like it when you do that.
They don't, do they? You right? Don't bust your own table or wash your dishes, which I really appreciate, not having to wash the dishes.
Right. You go out, to your salon and your hair lady gets a tip, your nail lady gets a tip, because you're showing them how grateful you are, that thankfulness for them and their expertise in what they do. You don't expect to show up somewhere and, left to be fend for yourself. And so you want to thank those people with those skills, and I'm talking about tips and gratuity, but then you can also show thankfulness to other people in your community in really simple, easy, tangible ways, like our local police and fire. Sometimes you should call in advance, but some places accept fresh baked goods, right? And they love that. You can even order them pizza and send it to them, or there's many different ways that you can show thankfulness and gratitude toward so many people. Writing them a card just to say thank you. It really matters what you do, and it doesn't matter who they are, what they do, really. One of the favorite things that we like to do is send thank you cards to people.
Yeah, I love getting in that energy and being like, what am I thankful for you for? Like each one that we write is like, we really take a minute. We don't just like send a card. We really take a minute and
we
think about
handwrite it. We handwrite the address on the envelope. It's that personal touch that I think a lot of things are missing
a
right
really
now.
amazing personalized card service though in the past though too. So that was really cool to like personalize each card that was going out and specializing, picking the picture, picking the saying, or writing my own, like
but really putting some thought into it.
Yes.
Now, me personally, I really appreciate those things showing up in the mail. We don't get nice things in the mail very often unless it's something we ordered on like Amazon or something. But
when you sing Christmas to yourself,
rarely do you get handwritten birthday cards, thank you cards, anniversary notes. We get bills.
I've always been a huge fan of sending people mail that's positive.
Yeah, and I love that. And one of the things my grandma used to do that I really miss now that she's not with us anymore is she would send us birthday cards for our birthday. And granted, she would write all the drama of all the neighbors and everything. It was like a whole story in this little card. Like she would fill the inside of the flap, and then underneath where the little script or whatever is in the birthday card. And then sometimes she'd run out of space and flip it to the back and keep writing. But I really miss that. And it was not all drama. They live in a small farming community, so they talk about this family and what they're farming and how their cows got loose or whatever it was that went on around the farm.
the shenanigans
of life, and it was
right?
fun. And being able getting those handwritten cards, I will never forget that. And that is something that I am trying to get better at. I have not in the past been very good at sending cards and things like that, but luckily I have Heather here to help me and whatnot. So my goal this next year is to send each and every one of my nieces and nephews a handwritten birthday card at minimum.
I love it. So something you can do is grab a dollar store calendar and put it on your desk with everyone's birthdays in it. And you could even, like, at the dollar store, if you know how many nieces and nephews you have, you could go ahead and buy 2 for $1 birthday cards. Then you have this calendar that is now a filing system, right?
Yeah.
Because we're not gonna put it on the wall. This is just for birthday tracking. So January 1st, you open up your calendar, you see whose birthday it is, and there's their birthday cards ready to go, and we mail them off.
Oh, see, I love that idea. Right? I got myself one of those nice fancy like wall decor things where it's got the months of the year and you can hang different things for like anniversaries and birthdays and stuff.
That's so pretty.
It's in my laundry room. You should check it out. But it's super cute. I even got my mom one because she's really not great about dates and holidays and which kids' birthdays when. She's got 4 kids, like 12 grandkids.
Every year for Christmas,
in-laws.
My grandma used to give us the calendar with everyone's birthdays written.
I love that. I love that. That just might be what I do for Christmas this year. Everybody gets a calendar.
And like then nobody has to guess. Forgot that she used to do that. Yeah, it was part of Christmas every year, shoot, right?
Yeah, and that's just one thing that you can do for that person.
And then it's in grandma's writing on the calendar. That was kind of right.
Yeah.
Now to think about it,
it's all a thing. Yeah. But these are just little ways that you can really show appreciation for those around you. Flowers.
Oh yeah,
right? Chocolate.
Chocolate, absolutely.
Chocolate, right? Everybody loves chocolate.
There's only a few people that don't love chocolate, so you keep some sugar-free caramel for those people, right?
Right, or some peppermints or something like that.
Right.
Some people prefer those, but I mean, just yesterday or a couple days ago, we went walking around downtown Arlington with a little bag of chocolates, and people's moods really changed when we just offered them a piece of chocolate. Like, hey, we're just spreading some holiday cheer.
Yeah.
Would you like a piece of chocolate? And I just hold out the bag. They can pick their own piece or two. You know, if they accidentally grab two, I guess the universe said they needed both of them.
That's
they
what
can
we
have
said.
both
Like,
of them.
you get two. I don't
you
care.
get two. It's fine. But like the entire mood changed. You know, we went into a coffee shop and passed chocolates around to everybody that was sitting working at their laptops or, you know, whatever in the coffee shop, and it really lightened the air in there. It really did. And you had to kind of be there to see it happen, but it was very, very cool, and we were able to connect with many people just by handing out chocolate.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. And just with no need for
we weren't
looking for them to like give us something back. Like, we were just giving,
right?
And you know, and just we only made it through one block because
we made a lot of connections, and we just made it down one block, across the street, went down the other side and back to the car. And we were out of chocolate, but our hearts were full and their hearts were full, and everybody was in a good place.
Yeah, it was really good. It was a nice thing to do to help everybody getting ready for holiday season, because it's so stressful. Like just being kind out there and spreading the cheer and joy.
And we will be doing more of those. So if you're local and you'd like us to swing by and say hi and bring some chocolate, let us know, because we're more than happy to do that. But
never know when the next field trip day will be.
Right, we never know when the next field trip day will be. And then we also want to talk about, what are you thankful for? Okay, what are you thankful for?
Sometimes it's really just those basic things that I'm so grateful for and thankful for, and just thanking everything for coming together and providing us with a roof over our head, being able to keep the dog, you know, food on the table,
right?
You know,
and it really does boil down to the little things. It's the little things that make a big difference. It's, you know, being thankful for what you have, and don't worry about what you don't have. Let the universe know what you need, and the universe will provide in abundance. There's enough for everybody. There's enough to go around for everybody. Don't be stingy. There's plenty. Okay. You know,
be open to it.
The spirit of the holidays is not contingent on what's available on the shelves.
Absolutely.
So calm down. It's okay. And we're going to move into a meditation today on thankfulness. Okay. So if you're driving, please pull over, don't close your eyes, and just breathe and follow along with the sound of my voice. Breathe in through the nose. Exhale nice and slow. Inhale good energy. And exhale anything that's blocking you today. Thank you for giving me the energy to live a full life. Thank you, universe, for allowing me to live my life feeling safe and well. Thank you for the abundance that is in my life. Thank you for giving me the power to carve my own destiny. Thank you for giving me my intelligence and ability to learn. Thank you for my body that enables me to live life to the fullest. Thank you for my ability to look at life from a positive viewpoint. Thank you for letting me see the good in people. Thank you for giving me a partner who loves and cares for me. Thank you for allowing me to lead a life that I love. Take a few more slow, deep breaths and say out loud or even to yourself a few more things that you're thankful for. Say, thank you, universe. Thank you, self. Thank you, friends and community and connections. Thank you for listening. There are many, many things to be thankful for. One of those things that we are so thankful for are our very own family traditions.
Oh my goodness.
Right? We all have our own family traditions. And I would like to know, what is your favorite family tradition for the holidays?
My probably overall holidays.
Over all the holidays. It doesn't necessarily have to be the winter holidays.
I loved when the kids were little and we would take them every year to ride the holiday train in Marysville through the golf course. And they would put up little stuff and you could roast marshmallows. And I loved just going and looking at different Christmas lights with the kids.
Yeah.
I miss that.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Did you know that the Warm Beach Lights of Christmas is doing a drive-through system now? They did a drive-through system in response to the virus, and it's gone so well. They're keeping that drive-through
How
system
nice, 'cause
going.
that would keep you warmer and dry.
Right? If you are wondering about the Warm Beach Lights of Christmas, go ahead and Google it. We should post a link
I'm gonna write that down because that was
in the description.
we just thought of that.
It is
right now.
beautiful. And it's in Stanwood, at the Warm Beach. It's a Christian campground, and they really do it up really well with Christmas lights. They have hot chocolate. Their donuts are amazing. If you go, you have to get their donuts. They're amazing. They're handmade on site, right?
Like I've heard that from so many people. Like you got to get the hot chocolate, the donuts, and go look at the lights and have a little moment with your family.
There's even a couple of houses around town that set their lights up to like go with the music and stuff, and they'll have a sign in their yard saying what radio station to tune to, and it's usually whichever AM radio station is playing the Christmas music, and the lights will change to the music, and it's so cool.
You're making me miss living in Everett, because when I lived in Everett, there's a place over off of 19th that like the whole community does it. There's like lights across the street and they take food out of that one. Whenever I would pick up family in Everett, when I wasn't living in Everett, I would always take them. So that's a part of the holidays, is like if I'm picking you up and we're in Everett and it's dark, we're going on a drive.
One of the things that my family has done in response to the holidays is we take Christmas Eve to just our little family, or at least, half of it, right? And when we go to my in-laws, we started doing Christmas breakfast, Christmas Day at my in-laws. Because, my parents' house, and then we have Christmas here at our house, and we have Christmas at my mother-in-law's, and Christmas at my father-in-law's, and it's just a whole thing. So
how is that fun?
Right. And then I was super smart and got married 3 days before Christmas. So I also have my anniversary in there too. We never really do anything for my anniversary. We'll go out to dinner or something like the weekend before sometimes. But sometimes we have to wait like a month.
Right.
But
yeah.
One of the things we started doing specifically was taking some time, just the four of us, for Christmas.
That's good.
And doing presents, just me and my husband and the kids, away from the chaos and things like that. And we just really have kind of a chill day where we open our presents, we hang out, we watch some Christmas movies or whatever, which Christmas movies in my house, by the way, is like Harry Potter and like Lord of the Rings.
Right.
And
I'm pretty sure that didn't Lord of the Rings come out like on some Christmases, because I know that I went and saw a couple of those movies during like on Christmas Day.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, I think a lot of them aired in the theaters on Christmas Day.
Yeah. And so the theaters are usually open, but not really packed.
Right.
So that
Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Right.
Don't argue. Just don't argue.
I don't argue with the people that say Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
We just don't. Yeah.
One of the movies that my grandma loved, and it would be on her TV playing in the background when we were at her house at Christmas time, was National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Right? Everybody knows National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. It is a classic, and I cannot watch that movie without thinking about my grandma and how her house smelled at the holidays, and just all the cooking and the family time. And it was always really warm because she heated her house with a wood stove, and like
the wood stove and then the oven.
Feel that
like those two combination of the warmth of the wood stove and then more people and then the warmth of the ovens. Because did you have multiple?
Oh, and it got it got super cozy when I was probably middle school time frame. They built a in-law suite onto the house for my great grandma, so that she could move in with them and be taken care of. And it was like a big 2-bedroom, full kitchen, bathroom, 1 bath, like in-law suite in there, which was great for holidays because then we had 2 full kitchens to cook in. Right. All the oven space, refrigerator space you can handle. It was awesome. But yeah, it was just so warm and so cozy and things like that. And the biggest deal at grandma's house was don't wear your shoes on her white carpet. She lived on a farm and had a white carpet. And do not spill the food going from one kitchen to the other. Don't do it.
Yeah. Right.
But these are things that kind of, these traditions and practices that we have are all things that our family keeps doing, as we go on, and it changes over time, right? Traditions change over time depending on.
I think that you redefine those family traditions in a good way as our families grow, right? So you have to take time for your family Christmas Eve. That was always we always did my family Christmas Eve. My in-laws were always Christmas Day. So what we just did, that was always my kid's thing. He was always with mom on Christmas Eve. That's what we did. And a lot of times we celebrate on Yule instead of Christmas, we just spread it out depending on how stressed out the kids are.
Right.
Right.
We don't always do the holidays on the specific holiday because it can get a little crazy, right? And it's okay to start your own traditions with your family. It took me a really long time to figure that out. And I'm still trying to establish traditions with my kids so that they can, carry on to their kids and so on and so forth. But I think having that personal, like just that small family time together for us is really important.
It is very important. And having that discussion sometimes is like, okay, so we're going into the holidays, and what is most important to you during this time as we plan for the holidays?
Right.
So like, my son no longer likes to look at Christmas lights. I love to look at Christmas lights, but he doesn't care to, to go do that now. So, and I can respect that. I'm going to have a better holiday if I don't force him to go do something he doesn't want to do. Right.
Right.
So,
and then, having those safe boundaries and those conversations that, and the flexibility of, do I want to participate in this piece or do I not? Or do I want to sit out? I think is huge. Giving him the option, because many times growing up, we were told you're going or else.
Yeah. You have no choice.
And you better have a good attitude about it.
And it doesn't matter if your arm is broken, it's hot and you can't go swimming. I'm thinking of a particular friend's story. You will go with us. You are going to spend time with the family, regardless. And that's not the issue for my child. Like, he wants to spend time with the family. It may not necessarily be the activity that's okay for him because of where he lies on the spectrum. Right. So, and we know each other really well. So
you can read his body language when he's starting to get overwhelmed and done with that. And I do the same thing with my kids. I have one who's on the autism spectrum and another one with anxiety. So I could tell when they're about peopled out for the day. And if we're hosting the holiday at my house, it'll be like, all right, it's okay. You can go to your room for a little bit. Or even better yet, nobody goes in my room. Why don't you go lay down on my bed for 15 minutes or so, and I'll let you know when dinner's ready or when the next thing is. Or
sometimes we would schedule in like those kind of family things. I can remember that's why we watch a holiday movie for us is My Neighbor Totoro. And so, we put on My Neighbor Totoro. Next thing you know, all the kids are on the bed relaxing and just hanging out for a little while. So you're creating that opportunity for those reset moments within the day too. So because it is overwhelming. It's overwhelming for us as adults. Can you imagine not having the skills at all?
Right. And then also,
I hope I have the skills to communicate how I'm doing now, right? So like there was a point in time when we were young and didn't have those skills or support.
Right. Or we didn't know we had the option to communicate those skills. Right. And a lot of us grew up in a world where we could not communicate those things. Like, hey, I'm having a really hard time right now. I'm feeling the anxiety. We talk a lot more about our feelings now.
Oh, yes. Oh, emotional intelligence. Like we talk about, like, where did the root of that reaction come from? Okay, are we good now? Okay, we can move forward now.
Right.
Instead of it becoming an issue.
So our perspective versus that of our parents is totally different than, how we put things on our kids. I try not to add more stuff to my kids' plates than I have to. They both already have enough stuff going on. If I can handle it, I try to handle it. If I can handle the drama and the anxiety and all that stuff, I prefer to take that on myself than push it onto them. And if they need a minute, that's fine. And if I need a minute, sometimes they can read me like a book and they'll be like, Mom,
now that they're older,
you need to go have a timeout.
Yeah, you need to go.
My kids are now.
I'm going to turn the light off for you. That's not always.
Go lay down. It's okay.
You need to chill.
But again, that's in how we've approached our particular parenting styles and communicating with our kids, and how we've had to learn to communicate with our kids. And then, you know what, it kind of shines a little bit of a light on ourselves too,
right?
Because we have to teach them what proper behavior patterns look like and why, because they have to know why.
They always need the why, that explanation.
Right. And for a lot of us adults, 30, 40, 50 somethings, that was never explained to us why we had to behave a certain way. We were just expected to behave a certain way.
Because I said so.
Right.
That was why.
But back to thankfulness, right? We get off track.
So grateful.
And this is all good things for you guys
Yeah.
to talk about. This is I'm so grateful and thankful, like Heather said, that we can talk to you guys about these things, because I feel like if it's important in conversation and it comes up, that we're not the only ones that need to hear that.
Yeah, we're really not.
We feel like maybe it's something that you might learn from.
And it's okay to
experience as
parent
well.
your children differently than you were raised.
It is okay to parent your children
Because
differently
our
than you were
children are unique individuals, and they are not the same kids that were raised before. Like,
right. It's different. The world is a different place.
my grandma always says, better you than me.
Right.
She's like,
Better you than
"Ooh,
me.
you have the patience for that." I'm like, well, he's coming around. Let's
Right.
just give him a minute. Like, he just needs a little more time than you have.
So talking about the holidays and get-togethers and thankfulness, I am super thankful for some of my family's favorite recipes.
Right.
Everybody has their
Makes your
favorites.
mouth water thinking about the traditions.
Right. Who has a favorite recipe from their grandma or somebody in their life that they just
we'll give you one.
we'll give you
We got one
We-
for you.
We'll share. It's okay. And for me, a few things that I love my holiday meals is Thanksgiving. We always do traditional turkey dinner. My dad makes really amazing homemade cranberry sauce and cans it. Well, my mom cans it. My dad makes it. He also makes cheesecake.
Oh, wow.
My
Do
dad
we
is
put
an
the
actual
cranberry
really
on
good
the
cook.
cheesecake?
I mean, you could, but we don't usually.
You don't need to.
Depending on what kind of cheesecake he makes that year. My mom makes like 57 billion kinds of fantasy fudge, lemon, creamsicle. She makes alcoholic types like dark chocolate and Jack Daniels, white chocolate, Kahlua, and then other interesting flavors like chai tea. Makes really good fudge, by the way. And then she also does traditional things, and she used to, for many, many years, make divinity. And if you've ever had divinity,
Wow.
It's little white balls of fluffy sugar, and it melts in your mouth, and it's amazing. And it was
If it's made right.
If it's made right. It was my grandma's
There you
favorite
go.
recipe, and my mom is the only person I know to this day that can make divinity no matter what the weather's doing outside, because usually if it's raining outside and it's really humid, it will destroy
rains in Washington.
It'll destroy the divinity and it'll be mush.
Yeah.
But she was able to, after many, many, many years of practice, make it just perfect. And that's just some of my favorite things. I've got to learn how to make divinity the way my mom made divinity. And I got to kind of talk her into making me a batch.
You're gonna have to make it with her.
Yeah,
so you
have
can
to make it
see
with her.
this secret.
Mhm.
That's just like, you can read the recipe, but there's something in like how it's whisked.
Mhm.
And
and
some of these recipes,
Cairo
it's
syrup
like,
had the whole thing. Yeah,
there's
right.
just like all the little steps. Like the first time I ever made cheesecake, my friend gave me all these notes, and I stayed up all night. And I just slowly made the cheesecake, and I was really excited about how it came out, because I took all of her details and it crossed over into the cheesecake.
And it is in the details, and it is in the practice. A lot of these recipes you make all the time because it's the practice is what makes it so much better.
Right.
And then also everything tastes better at Thanksgiving anyway. I don't know what it is. It's magic of the holidays and getting together. It always tastes better at the holidays. My sister, what she provides is, my little sister, is she does a green bean casserole, but it's not your traditional green bean casserole with like green beans and tomato soup and stuff, right?
Tomato soup.
I always made mine with green beans and tomato soup.
Do you mean mushroom soup?
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
Not tomato soup,
Cream of mushroom.
cream
I was
of
like,
mushroom soup.
tomato soup. Wow, that's an interesting. You went in a whole different direction.
You're like, yeah.
like, Well, that's interesting. Is
I
what
know
I gotta
people who
say.
like ketchup on their green beans, but
Well,
yeah,
I was
that's different.
like, it'd be more like spaghetti.
Yeah.
That's all I could think of. I was like, well, that could be interesting.
Yeah, but my sister's green bean casserole that she makes has like cream cheese and
Ooh.
stuff in it, and it's like fresh green beans, and it's just really, really, really yummy. And so everybody in my family provides something for the meal. What I provide for our meal is I usually get the turkey. And then I also make Amish white bread rolls, which is a nice fluffy yeasty roll and things like that.
They're a little sweet.
They are a little sweet because Amish white bread does have a lot of sugar in it.
And the goal with them is kneading them enough.
Yep.
And letting them rise.
Right.
Enough.
And your kitchen has to be warm enough.
That's one of the big secrets.
help it rise, and then you do the little trick with the little water pan in there to really make it a nice golden brown crust, and it's a process, and it takes a few hours because you got to wait for the yeast to rise and then process.
My grandma would tell you it does not. They are 90 minutes. You can get this done. Come on.
Right. This is a different recipe.
It's pretty close though. It is very close to my family's recipe. Grandma always made the rolls, and her rolls, after so many years of doing it, it was that, you could tell that she knew how long to knead the dough for. Like she didn't get impatient. She knew how to wait and get it to the right spot.
Right. Patience is a big thing when you're baking.
Yes.
What other traditional family yummy dishes did your family have?
Well, we like to do, my grandpa always liked to make potato candy. Have you ever heard of potato candy?
I've never had a potato candy.
You literally use like a quarter of the potato, a little dash of like mint extract, and flour, powdered sugar. Don't use flour.
Okay.
And powdered sugar, and you mix it together until,
like, do you soften the potatoes?
Oh yeah, you cook it till it's like soft, and then you use only like a quarter of potato, or you'll have too much.
Okay.
I mean, tell you, don't do that to yourself.
Okay.
There's really only so many. You cook, we usually just microwave the potato, make it like a baked potato, and use about a quarter, no skins. Thank you for having me back. Then mash it up, and then start adding in the powdered sugar, and it ends up, you add powdered sugar until it makes like a dough, and you roll it out into like a long snake, and then you cut it into little bits, and then you let it dry, and it's potato candy. My grandpa always made it with us. He always made a point to make it with us.
That sounds like some Great Depression era recipes,
right?
Right? But, I mean, in reality, that's where our grandparents,
like one of 12 or 13 kids, so that makes sense, right? Like every kid can make a quarter potato of their own potato candy, right?
I think that's really fun.
That's kind of cool. Yeah.
And then your family also does like a fruit salad?
Yes. I always like fruit salad because I think as a kid growing up, I could be in the kitchen and cut up the fruit salad. And that's where all the women were in the family. Everyone was working on their dish and helping each other out and having the conversations. And so making the fruit salad is very nostalgic for me. And it really feels like the holiday when we get together and make our fruit salad.
Right.
And some people used canned fruit and some people don't. Right. My grandma would be like, that's other people's fruit salad.
That's not our fruit salad. That's
not our fruit salad. I actually was thinking about adding some of my Taka drink into the whipped cream this year. Ooh, to add a little bit of nice flavor without adding
sugar or anything like that. I know Dara's grandma puts in like Jello.
Oh, see, so that's kind of what I was
Jello.
thinking.
She makes like orange salad with like cottage cheese.
And that's a totally different salad.
Yeah, but then she also does a fruit salad with like whip and
yeah, that's usually maraschino cherries, bananas, apples, pineapple. I don't know that I'll put the pineapple in because I still am not sure if I can eat that.
Right, but these are all memories and things that we are thankful for, because these aren't just recipes. These are memories.
It's the memories,
right? It's the
of making
memories.
it, and then
Mhm.
sharing those memories again with the next generation, right?
Yeah.
So, what is it that makes those for you? Is it making the pies?
Mhm.
Like, I know I have friends that they love to make the homemade pumpkin pies, and they make probably 50 homemade pumpkin pies
Right.
and
From
give them
scratch
to
out of the
everybody,
pumpkins.
and that's their thing they do, right?
Right.
Everybody, we get to do the thing we love, and it's going to bring us the joy.
Right. And it's the memories of sharing those things with each other. That's 3 years ago. But you could tell me about the food. And you could tell me about the people that were there.
Right.
Right. There is very emotional attachments when it comes to food, and they can be healthy. So
I've actually studied a lot about that because I always thought it was strange that we always gathered around food and like trying to break that food addiction. Like, why is every time we get together around food? Well, that's because culturally, that is where everyone gathered to get nourishment. So it's like that's the spot that brought you together. And we're all less hangry if we've had something to eat, right? So
when we're not hangry,
when we're not
angry, when we're not hangry.
So I'm pretty sure that's how we got to have something to eat, as a go-to resource. Just back then we didn't have as much processed food. Right. So at some point we went from the homemade something to a prepackaged processed thing. So we took the love out of making our food.
Right. And I feel like the holidays is a really great opportunity to go back to making things from scratch, because we're not making food just for us and our family and our couple of kids that aren't going to eat it anyway, right? Really building that community with the family or friends or whoever you have over for Thanksgiving or Friendsgiving or however you celebrate. Food brings people together.
Right.
And it builds community, and it gives you guys like a common ground and something to share. Right.
Right.
So it's like this all-inclusive thing
that like having food limitations, having food sensitivity issues. I always bring something that we can eat and share with people. And then we always will find other things you can eat there usually, but always be safe and bring something you can eat if that's an issue.
Right. And it's okay to talk to the other people about, hey, what are you bringing?
I love that on your fridge you have a list of everyone's food allergies.
I have,
not everybody does that, right?
So I have a lot of people in my life that I love and that
has the skill. Right.
That has those food sensitivities. So yeah, we have a list on the fridge of people we know and love and their food sensitivities and allergies, because when we're making something to take to a potluck to that person's house or to share with,
always makes me feel bad. Like even when I would ascend on someone's house with 3 kids and husband and we're 5 people, I'm not expecting you to feed my family, so I would bring food, and then I would always feel bad if there was a food allergy. Like I've done that, like taking gluten to somebody that's gluten-free. Like you're like, oh, I didn't mean to do that, I'm so sorry, but I need to feed the kids. I'm sorry.
So I did this thing a few months ago. We have a mutual friend who's really, really allergic to cinnamon.
Yes.
Okay. And I made
the best zucchini bread.
Well, it wasn't the zucchini bread.
Oh, wait.
It was the Ayurvedic food, the chigiri. It's like a stew. You use vegetables, but
I forgot about that.
It's got turmeric and some other garlic and some other seasonings in there, but it also has cinnamon. Cinnamon is actually really good in rice dishes and Indian dishes and things like that. It's amazing. It really sets off the flavor internally. It is really good for you internally
if you're not allergic.
But this particular friend is very allergic to cinnamon, and I went to a potluck at her house And I had forgot she had cinnamon, and I open the lid and she takes a big whiff and automatically has to run outside to breathe. And I put the lid back on, I put it in a bag, and I ended up putting the whole pot of stuff like in my car. Because
back alley.
Like as soon as I lifted the lid and she sniffed, I was like, oh.
So nobody could eat it like around her. Like it's not safe. Like,
right. And then if the kids got it like on their fingers or their face and then they touched her, she would break out. It would be a whole thing. So I put it in the car and I put it away and I ate it for leftovers.
a lot of
leftovers. But that also shows thankfulness for her, because as soon as I realized, oh shoot, no, I got to put that away, I did. And I did not take it personally either. Right. And we have to be careful about what we take personally, because nothing others do is because of you.
Right.
Okay. Nothing other people do. Nothing. The reactions you're getting from other people are not necessarily because of you. They're in their own world. They're living their own thing. And so sometimes you get these negative reactions and things like that. And you're like, whoa, where did that come from? Guess what? It's not about you. And so remember that this holiday season.
That's a good one.
Grumpy people are just grumpy and it's not about you.
When we're fostering that like attitudes and thankfulness, one of the many tools we can use with our families is passing around stories and having children's books. They make great gifts. You can give them as cards. You can write in them. I still like to give it, even if it's a kid's book. Like I get excited. I love a book.
Right? I love kids' books too. I used to teach preschool and stuff too, so I love kids' books, and I used to have a whole bunch of them. But since my kids are bigger, I donated them.
I know it's been
to
so
the school,
hard,
and I had like a whole big bookshelf. Yeah. So some of our favorite kids books for talking about thankfulness and showing thankfulness is Sylvester and the Magic Pebble. And then we also
do we want to just give some titles, and you can in the next one we got was the Rainbow Fish. I really like the title.
Oh, Rainbow Fish is so cute. I know so many kids that love Rainbow Fish. The next one, another one you can by Liz Garton, Scanlon, and Marla Frazee.
And another one by Dr. Seuss, of course, is a good one. Right. How many Dr. Seuss's? Okay. Right. Except for when they're like, it's bedtime. Those books take a while to read sometimes.
Right.
Did I ever tell you how lucky you are? Right. It's a really good one.
And then Thanks a Million by Nikki Grimm's.
So we have links for all of those in the description. And then we also found some YouTube videos that are in there. So the first one I found was a thankful, it's called Thankful, Read Out Loud Books for Children. And it's a poetry gratitude book, really cool.
Thankful by Eileen Spinelli, children's books read aloud on Once Upon a Story.
And then also a little Thankful Spot by Diane Alber, is by Kids Books Read Out Loud. How wonderful. What a cool resource I didn't even know was available. So if you don't have access to a library, or you don't have a lot of money to spend from Amazon, I didn't even know that you could use YouTube to go check out basically books that are being read to you, like story time. How fun is that?
Yeah. And another resource that a lot of people don't know are available if you live in a more rural area and don't have access to a library is check out Dolly Parton's
that's a great program.
Children's book.
What is that
thing? Oh, Imagination Library.
Yes, the Imagination Library.
Right. Yes. And every month or so you can get books directly shipped to your home.
I believe it's free.
It is free
because it's about
I used to get it for my
kids. So it's really, really cool. In our local area, the Lions Club goes to almost any event with free books for kids and families. I love that.
And I'm so thankful for all these books. You know, we learn to read from books, but we also learn how to improve ourselves many, many times through books. I am constantly reading books to work on myself, you know,
same
improvement.
Same.
How can I be a better person? How can I be a better business person?
The Bernstein Bear books with the kids. That whole series.
That whole series.
Like every single one of them.
And Mercer Mayer is another great series for kids.
Do have a book here. Oh, sorry.
Pete the Cat. And then there's also the Pete the Cat books. I don't know if you know this, but they're songs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So some of the books you can come with the little CD and it's the story, but it's in song, kind of like a jazzy kind of vibe to it. They're pretty fun. You can also find them on YouTube.
Oh, how fun.
Pretty cool, right?
So you can give the double experience of like, here's a really cool book. Here's a video that goes with the book. I can't be here to read this to you next time. But
and also
you can always hear it.
With kids, especially, that repetition of the story not only helps them learn to read better, but it creates synapses in the brain. So if you could connect them to a story in multiple different ways through like doing crafts, listening to the story, following along with the story, listening to the song version of the story, you know, there's many different things you can do, and it creates a synapses in the brain, and it helps them remember things a little better.
That's cool. Is that why I like when I love Audible. But I after I've listened to a book, I'll go back and re-listen a couple of times, and then next thing I know, I want the hard copy because I want to write all over the
take notes. So books are a great way for you to connect different ideas with your kids and talk about it. You know, it gives you a platform that's not just you talking about it, right? It's not a lecture. It's not presented as a lecture. It's presented as a conversation.
To adult personal development books. I remember when I was reading, listening to Tim Ferriss' A Minute to an Hour Commute, and my son, it was really backfired. Like, he knows that if I just do a burst of energy and get this work done, then I can play the rest of the day. Like,
come on, get it done. Let's go. So use books as a tool for thankfulness, right?
Yeah.
And there are so many books that I am so thankful for. And there are so many traditions and experiences and people that I'm so thankful for. And I'm especially thankful for our listeners for helping us and supporting us along our journey. We're going to keep going places, you guys. We're going to keep making mistakes. You get to watch us make those mistakes. We're going to continue improving and getting better.
As we keep
every single day.
We're going to fail forward.
We're going to fail forward.
Yes.
That being said, let's go ahead and take a moment to thank our sponsors. Warrior Yoga, Heather Ross, Wellness Ambassador, HEMA Forge Virtual Gaming, who is still looking for more players for their alpha testing. So if you're interested in that, please shoot them an email. The link will be in the description below.
Studio 5 Glam, the October Company, and us.
We're awesome. Thank you guys for joining us. I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday and getting into the winter holiday spirit. This is for me like a really exciting time of year. I really look forward to this time of year, and I can't wait till it snows.
Thank you for joining us today on the Women in Leadership, Body, Mind, and Soul in Business podcast. Without you, this community wouldn't be the same. Join us next time.
See you next time.
Namaste.
Namaste.